you ever make sense of what's different between a Firefly Inferno match and a normal Inferno match?
I thought it was gonna take place like maybe in the fun house or like at least like in like the quote unquote universe that Bray took Cena to.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be something like that, but when I saw they were using the normal arena, I was like, well, why call it a Firefly? What's it called? Inferno match if there wasn't much of the Firefly Funhouse in it.
I'm also waiting for a point when the puppets are like human-sized costumes and they interfere. Like a big rambling rabbit, or a big Sister Abigail, like just freaking us out, looking like reject Chuck E. Cheese characters.
Yeah, I will say one of my favorite like spots and like just imagery from the match was like the entire time everyone was wondering for like the first few minutes was, well, where's the fire?
Yes.
And then finally when Bray has him down, he just summons the fire out and it begins.
It was incredible, right?
Yeah, I love that. And then I loved the spot where the rocking chair that Bray used to have is sitting there, and he pours all the oil on it, pours a line of the oil to like leading to it, and he sits Orton in it, lights the match, and then when he does it, and Orton just escapes, and the chair's lit on fire.
There's a bit where he's got this leather strap, and he's wailing on Orton with it, and then he holds the strap to one of the flames, lets it catch fire, and then straight up takes a swing at Orton with a flaming strap. And thank goodness he ducks, because he didn't hold nothing back.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's so good.
Yeah. And then the ending was so crazy, and to me it was it caught me off guard because the Fiend gets caught on fire, and you're like, well, technically he lost the match. Then he's lit on fire. But then there's no bell ring, and they continue on into the ring, which I thought was also a really cool thing to show how strong the Fiend is. He's on fire, and yet he still runs into the ring after Orton, not letting the fire do anything.
And his jacket and his legs are on fire, and he runs into the ring upright, chasing after Orton.
And then he gets caught with the RKO, and he's down in the ring, and that's when you see Orton just kind of look off. He gets the lighter fluid and pours it all over the Fiend, and then he leaves to go get the matches that are apparently at ringside for whatever reason. And then he took a bit long because to be safe, they put in that dummy of the Fiend.
I have to mention, at this point, my brother and my dad were watching with me the whole time, and at this point my dad asks, who's going to come save him? Right? He just expects somebody to come save him. And the only name I can muster was Alexa Bliss. I was like, can Alexa come and pull him out of the ring? And my dad, honest to goodness, said after the fact, I honestly thought somebody was going to come out there and stop him. Commentary was great. Samoa Joe was beside himself, telling Randy, don't do it. Don't do this, Randy.
Yeah, and they were like screaming, somebody get in there and stop it. Like, they really played it up. And like, he just lights the match. And I like how like they really showed how like Orton was truly debating on whether he should do it or not, because he lets it almost go to the bottom of his the flame go to the bottom of his fingertip before he finally drops it on the Fiend, lighting him on fire.
And he shows a ton of like doubt and remorse in his face in like the first few seconds after he did it.
Yeah,
he kind of looks at it like, what did I just do?
Yeah, it was an insane finish, and what made it even crazier was like after that, and like they just showed the Fiend's body continuing to be lit on fire, like they immediately just went and cut to black to finish it off.
Yes, and like my dad was like, "What's gonna happen next?" And I text you, and you're like, "I don't know where they're going with this." Oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was really good.
And then the people who came up with the design of the Fiend mask and helped break him over it, they have been tweeting photos and stuff of like it looks like new concept art for like a new mask or like a new idea for the Fiend.
Did you see what the Fiend himself tweeted after the match. He tweeted after the match.
Yeah, that caught a lot of people off by surprise. But like, it kind of makes sense. Like I was saying, my dad, it's a super. He's supposed to be some supernatural character, you know. So
right,
it would make sense that he survives. But I did like. I saw. He posted essentially like the caterpillar coming out of its cocoon and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So there's some change occurring, some metamorphosis of sorts.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a world where a man named Mark Calloway can die a couple of times and come back, and no one bats an eye. So
yeah,
we're in good company.
Yeah. And what I'm hoping happens is, you know, I hope it's first off a break for the Fiend again. You know, kind of like when Bray took the break to start coming up with the idea of the Fiend. I hope it's not as long, but I hope we get like sort of an extended break for him. And when he comes back, they actually give him a definitive motive for his character. You know, because what ruined it, or not ruined, but you know, what kind of derailed a lot of the Fiend's momentum when it first came out was, you know, us as the fans convinced ourselves that, oh, the Fiend is Bray Wyatt's way of getting revenge on those who have wronged him in the past. But then because WWE saw how much we liked the Fiend, they shot him into the title picture. And it was like, well, why would the Fiend want the title? You know?
Yeah.
Why would he want to go after a title? And once you give him the title, you kind of limit his story and like who he can go into feuds with.
How much time we have?
8 minutes.
Oh, good. Jack, what do you think should be his motivation when he comes back?
Honestly, I would kind of continue a bit with, you know, the getting revenge, or at least getting some type of, how would you say, like clarity from, going after the people in his past, because, you know, that's what it seemed like he was going after Orton for, you know. Mm-hmm. And I like that idea, and, you know, I even liked even more how, for the most part, almost every person he interacted with, he kind of affected, so I really like that.
Yeah.
Aspect of it. I do hope they keep him away from title scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope we see him less, because, you know, the more that he's like a rarity, the more, you know, it builds interest and, you know, for the character.
Yeah, I would like, you know, for him to come back with a renewed focus, as you've described. Because, like, you know, if we think too much about this, and that's what we do, we're fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is the Fiend but like an extension of Bray Wyatt, the sweater guy, right? Like the TV personality. And like, I imagine, you know, whatever the Fiend amounts to be, you know, I feel like they should definitely go back to relating it to the sweater character. Because, you know, the two aren't separate.
Yeah.
And I think when, like, he was chasing the title, or when he's, like, you know, feuding with Braun, he or Roman, you know, they stopped treating the two as different people, and they were the same person.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is like, oh, it's not as interesting.
Yeah.
And I wonder, with the time we have left, what are your thoughts on Alexa Bliss? And for folks who don't watch, the Fiend sort of adopted Alexa Bliss, a female wrestler. Kind of, I don't know what he's done to her, but she's acting all weird and, you know, kind of is a part of that Firefly Funhouse TV show thing that Bray Wyatt had going on.
Yeah.
People are really into her participation of it. Telling you right now, Jack, I'm not so much.
Yeah. You know, obviously she does bring some interesting things to the Firefly Funhouse, but, like, for the most part, to me at least, it kind of seems weird to start adding people to it, like, because, you know, some people wanted Bo Dallas to kind of join in with his brother. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I think about it, I'm like, well, if people join, then you're adding more work for yourself as to creating motives for these extra people aligning themselves with the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like, well, what is Alexa's motives going forward as being partnered with the Fiend, you know?
Right. And, you know, motives, there aren't an endless supply of them. It's love or power or money or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually one of those things. Yeah, Alexa's character, I'm glad people are excited about it. I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a clear enough division between her Firefly Funhouse character and then whatever, like, is out in the ring, you know?
Yeah.
There's this weird, amorphous, hot topic kind of, amalgamation of two.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see where they go with this. I did get a good laugh out of people saying that we were going to see Bray Wyatt show up as like Ghost Rider in his Fiend costume.
That'd be incredible, yeah, with flames built into it. Last night on Raw, Alexa Bliss appeared and told Randy that, he's coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she said a lot. Ultimately, what she said is, he's going to come back. Yeah.
But
right on. Otherwise, look at that. One episode, we got the whole show in. Thank goodness for us. There were 6 matches,
Yeah.
And not a lot of, hate. Not a lot of hate-inducing things happening, short of Charlotte Flair's never-ending title runs.
Yeah. And, as this is the final pay-per-view of the year, because as we're building now towards Royal Rumble next year, which I'm super excited for, I'm hoping they can find a way to safely incorporate fans, because it's the fan in me that really says as good as the Rumble is, the fans really make it.
Yeah.
So I hope they find a way. Like, I seriously hope they don't go with pumped in fan noise, because
I was just gonna say, when in doubt, Jack, we got an MP4 file ready to go of everyone going 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but I will say, the one thing that I truly appreciate from this entire year of wrestling is, one, the companies being able to entertain us month in and month out, week in and week out, throughout all this, all the wrestlers putting their safety on the line, both in the ring and more than ever before, doing this for us. And the one thing I greatly appreciate, and it's kind of a selfish view, but the one thing that I'm glad that this pandemic did is show WWE, hey, you need to start cutting the fat out of a lot of these pay-per-views.
Absolutely. Wow. What a highlight to shout out. Right. Something like our 6-match, 2.5 hour, pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
Right on.
Like they really took essentially the takeover approach, where, hey, we're only going to have about 5 to 6 matches. They're going to be the 5 to 6 matches that have been most important in our build up to this pay-per-view, and, we're going to keep it short. We're going to give these guys the time to have a good match out there and everything. But so,
well said, sir.
We'll wrap up here. A really good pay-per-view from WWE, a good final pay-per-view. And now we can move on to the next episode. We'll see if we can fit it all into one episode. We should be able to.
Worth a shot.
Mr. Solis and I's top 10 matches of 2020. We'll see you in the next episode.
Oh boy.